Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We are here for conscious conversations in parenting. Again, I almost forgot. And welcome to episode 29. 29, we're going to be talking about morning routines and the value, I think, the value of it and what we do. We'll share with you what if we have any routines even and what we do and the benefit of it, how it can start your day. It's the beginning of your day, most people, some people not, but whatever is your morning, we'll have this conversation and sort of dive into that and see what we can unpack and what insights we can share with each other. But if it's your first time here, welcome. Thank you for being here with us. My name is Angie. I'm the creator of Journey to Soul, and I'm a mom. I I have two kids, 10 and 5. I'm married for well, for 12 years, and and I don't know, I'm just a human. I'm a human I've always been somebody that has been trying to do the best I can. And as soon as I know better, as soon as I uncover more awareness, right, and I awaken, I want to apply that. I want to apply it and then I receive the benefits of that. And so I want to share it. And this is just the natural rhythm of me, and so conscious conversations was such a natural extension of that. I've been doing it for years, and now I want to reach more people because I'm a person that knows in my soul, like I'm here to serve humanity. And so I've got to start speaking and using my voice and sharing. And that's how, this has come about. And then I meet beautiful people that want to do that too. And so we come together and we bring this to you. So that's all I have to say about that today. Julie, if you want to introduce yourself.
Absolutely. I'm Julie, and I have two boys, 11 and 13. Been with my husband for almost 22 years. Have wanted to be a parent from as long as I can remember. So I have been consciously thinking about parenting for a very long time. And I'm just so grateful to have these conversations, to remember things that I've forgotten, to hear new perspectives and new experiences from other amazing conscious moms, and to just explore these ideas and topics again and see what unfolds, because there's always something beautiful and exciting and new information and perspectives that come out of this. And the connection is just beautiful.
Natalie.
My name is Natalie, and I really love how you introduced yourself today, Angie. And I really vibe with it, as like in the fact that when throughout my whole life it's all a learning experience, right? And more opportunities to awaken and notice behaviors about myself, just become more consciously aware. And I love sharing all those experiences and those lessons with people. So I often share it with conversations with on this channel, and I also share it in my writing, which I'm editing my new book, 21 Days to the New Earth, which often shares a lot of these topics that we're sharing, a lot of those really simple tools and techniques that we share together. And I'm really excited about today's topic because I like super duper jam on routines.
Yeah, dive in then. Dive in, share it. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, you're welcome. So morning routines. I've had my own morning routine for a couple of years now, and it has helped so much. Like it just sets up my day really well. I start off on a really positive vibe, and sticking to that morning routine really helps increase my vibration. It just again it's kind of like that foundation of your day. And there's so many positive benefits to having healthy healthy routines, but also that are authentic to you, right? So sometimes it's you got to try different things, try them out for a while, see what clicks with you, what doesn't really click with you. And I think honesty is also a really big part of discovering what that perfect morning routine is for you.
Yeah. Yeah, not subscribing to someone else's routine. Like, give
Mm,
yourself permission to try things. Julie and I have been big advocates for this in talking about our mental health toolbox, right? Having a lot of different tools and trying them and understanding that it might work for a little while, but you may need to change it because we're ever evolving. We are ever changing. We are energy, and we energy never stays still. It's always moving. It's not stagnant, right? And so allowing, can you allowing space for routines to change too. And I think being honest with yourself, I love that you threw that in
mm,
there. It does require honesty. What works for
absolutely.
you?
Yeah, it's funny. I had a wonderful morning routine, um, and I stopped it, I think, almost a year ago now, maybe 10 months or so um, ago. And I'm still in the process of creating my new routine. I didn't just jump back in and do my old routine or, start a new routine. I'm really taking the time to choose exactly what I want in my morning routine. But when I did have that morning routine for myself, it made a world of difference, like you were saying, Natalie, starting my day in such a positive space with intentional self-love and care made a huge impact on the rest of my day and how my day would flow. Now being without a specific routine, um, it's almost like I feel fine. I don't feel great. So I'm still looking for
Mm.
that specific routine. And honestly, I've taken this time to not even, I haven't even been trying, like I've tried little things here and there, but I haven't sat down and made a routine that I want to do. I've written some things out here and there, but I know as soon as I put a routine into place, my energy and my days will be completely different because I've experienced it in the past. Um, as well as it being such an amazing example for our children
Mm.
to care for themselves, because I really find it's it changes the whole dynamic of the day, of everything, of connections with everyone, and showing our children that we need to care for ourselves first, again, goes against society's norms and can really set them up for success. So I really want to be that example for my children.
Yeah, they're watching us, you
Absolutely.
know.
And it brings
So,
me back. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
oh no, go ahead.
I was just going to say it brings me back to putting them first. And I started morning routines with them before I ever did with myself. Right. So, um, I now our morning routine, I mean, we have somewhat of a routine, like school day routine. Um, we get up, I just wake them up, tell them, it's 8 o'clock, time to get up. I go into the bathroom, they get up and use it after. I go downstairs, I make their lunch. They're 11 and 13 now, so they can take care of dressing and doing all the things they need to do, getting their backpack, getting their water. And then oftentimes we have a few minutes to chat before school, and then they're off to school. So that's our routine now. But years ago, our morning routine looked pretty hectic when I was trying to get 3 kids out the door, for kindergarten, one preschooler, 2 kindergartners. And I came to a place where I realized I was yelling and frustrated and trying to, you know, hustle and get out the door and be on
Force.
time and have everything
Like
ready.
herding
And
cats, right?
yeah, it was just insane. It was insane. And that's when the idea of morning routine came back to me. I was like, whoa, we need to put a routine here in place. So I started with a chart, showing them visually what expectations I had of them to get ready in the morning. And this is at like 3 and 4 years old. So they could see what they had to do. They were able to do these tasks and they could feel proud when they marked them off or put a sticker or whatever by the chart. And it saved me from doing this, talking and nagging constantly, as well as putting on timers. So I tell them, this is your timer to get this accomplished in. And then I could go and do my thing with the expectation they were going to take care of it, even at 3 and 4 years old. And they would, and they were proud of it. And it changed the complete dynamic. And the one last thing that changed the dynamic was remembering that I would much rather be late and in a loving and peaceful place than be on time, yelling and frustrated and frazzled, and then feeling guilty afterwards. So I took that pressure off myself as well, and it made a world of difference.
Yeah, I feel the difference of those two examples you just gave. Like be on time, but frazzled and then followed by guilt.
Yeah.
Followed by guilt. So the energy carries on with you, right? Even though your kids are now at school, right? And then probably the energy carries on with them too.
That's what I was going to say. That was my biggest guilt, is that I'm sending them off to school with this mother who's yelling and frustrated at them. How is that making them feel going into school and carrying through the day? I would much rather be wandering to school and looking at the leaves or the snow or the sky and, taking in each moment that I have with them before and, giving them a hug before they go and telling them to have a wonderful day, even if we're 20 minutes late. That 20 minutes is not as valuable as my connection and quality time with my children.
Nothing is more valuable than it.
No.
Right?
No. But sometimes we have to remember that, right? So we put these expectations on ourselves or think others have expectations of us and we don't have to follow that. We can choose.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things when I think about morning routines, so there's a few things. When I was going through mental health recovery, right? I was introduced to the concept of non-negotiable. Like create something that's non-negotiable. And it was, we like to talk about, especially Natalie likes to talk about simple things, right? Keep it simple, keep it small. It doesn't need to be big, right? And that was really big because everything would overwhelm me. And so she was like, my psychologist was like, create a non-negotiable for yourself. What is something that you already do in the morning? That's what she said to me. What's something you already do most mornings? And I was like, well, most mornings I wash my face. And she's like, can you make it more mindful of a practice and make it your non-negotiable, that no matter what, even if you get up at 4 p.m, when you get up, you will wash your face. And so we started to talk about this little routine I did, right? And she helped me make it more mindful as a practice. And so it was like, what happens when you wash your face? And I'm like, well, I splash cold water on my face and it wakes me up. That's part of why I like doing it in the morning, right? I'm like, I splash this water on my face. She's like, great. And she's like, and it wakes you up, it makes you alert, right? And then I wash my face, right? And I use an essential oil based cleaner, and it smells like tea tree and oh my gosh, tea tree and orange and basil. That was it. And so she's like, so when you do it, can you be more mindful and actually smelling that smell? Like seeing if you can identify the tea tree, the basil, and the orange in the face wash. And then it was like, when you're putting the lotion on, can you imagine it as an act of self-love? Like, I'm nourishing my skin. And I would do that. And she's like, there you go, that's your morning routine. And I brush my teeth all the time. So great, can you brush your teeth, more mindfully? And that became my morning routine, and it's still with me today. That was years ago. That was so many years ago. It was like 5 years ago, and it's still with me today. I still do it, and it's a non-negotiable. I do it every morning. Even if I'm in a rush, I do it anyway. And that has become a thing. And so because that's now become habit, I'm able to introduce another morning routine. And I'm really happy to have this conversation because it's making me think, oh, what else could I incorporate? I think I'm ready to incorporate something else into morning routines. There's also, like you mentioned, I'm getting the children to school. One of the things I like to do is give them a responsibility. So I use timers as well. And I give them something that they're responsible for so that it's like they have to put their lunch into their lunch bag and put it into their backpack. That's their responsibility for getting ready, right? And I feel it creates a nice routine and it helps them take responsibility for themselves and for something that they benefit from.
Absolutely,
That
yeah.
makes sense? Like, and it's a good stepping off point. I think it's really important. What I like about routine, it's a good stepping off point for cultivating commitment and devotion to yourself.
Hmm.
Because if we can do it in these small little ways, it becomes easier for us to do it in these bigger ways, like our spiritual commitment to our spiritual path, commitment to our awakening, commitment to sharing love every day, right? The last episode talking about appreciation, commitment and devotion to that as a practice. And then those things become routine also. So I mean, my invitation to people is to look there, you're already doing something routine in your life. Can you start by looking at those things you're doing in the morning? What are you doing in the morning? Maybe it's just a matter of becoming aware of what are you doing in the morning? Do you want to be doing it? Because sometimes I look at my phone right away. And I think that's a common one for a lot of people.
I love
And
that you brought up. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, and I was just, do I want to be doing that? And if it is something you want to be doing, whatever you assess, if it is something you want to be doing, how can I do it more mindfully? That's what I
Exactly.
wanted
That's
to
what I was
share.
going to say. I love that you brought up the intentional part because you're right. We do all have routines. And if we were to sit and think about it, there's absolutely routines to our day, to our morning, I'm sure, evening, any time of the day. But doing it intentionally is what makes the difference. Like you said, you are already washing your face, you are already brushing your teeth, but now you're doing it intentionally. And it energizes us in a different way. It
Yes.
sets us up for success and for feeling good in a completely different way rather than just rushing through it. Remembering that, oh, I am caring for myself. I am giving myself love right now. And it's having a non-negotiable, like you said, this is something I'm going to do for myself no matter what. It creates a different energy. It enhances our energy.
Yeah.
And as you said, then we can also add on to that as well. And it's about one step at a time. It's not about being perfect. It's not about, doing all of these things and having this amazing, perfect routine. It's intentionally doing one thing for ourselves and then adding to that because it becomes second nature. Eventually, it becomes second nature. Even doing it intentionally becomes second nature. So then we can intentionally add one more thing. And before you know it, there'll be all kinds of things you're intentionally doing in a loving way for yourself. So I love that you brought that up to make it intentional because we do have routines, but intentionally loving ourselves is much different.
It is. I wrote the question here too. How can I energize myself for the day? One little way.
Absolutely. And I'd like to say my routine that I had before, it took probably about an hour to do my full routine. And there was a lot of things in there and it felt absolutely amazing. I did body movement, I did self-love, I did caring for myself, like brushing my teeth and all of those things. And then I stopped them all and I noticed a huge impact. But now I am planning on just adding a couple intentional things and then building on that again. So our routines will change. Like you said, our tools will change. The more we can bring in and try new things, we'll find out the specific routine that will work for us. As you said, not taking on somebody else's routine. Find out what we desire and go from there, one step at a time.
Yeah. What about,
oh, sorry.
oh no, I was just gonna say, what about, nope, I lost it.
That's good. I was just going to say, this is inspiring me to, okay, make that routine, that intentional routine. Write it down, Julie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
make it a goal, right? Maybe some people who are watching are, maybe they're similar situation as Julie. Maybe you've had a morning routine before and it's kind of dropped off to the side. Maybe you've never had one and it's like, how do you start? Well, first you got to write it down and schedule it for yourself, right? Because if it's not scheduled, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So schedule something for yourself. Be like, okay, tomorrow morning I'm just going to be intentional about what I do when I wake up, right? Like just be very aware of what do you do when your alarm goes off or when you naturally awake. What's that first thing that you do? Or maybe you don't notice the first thing, right? Maybe it's, after you go to the bathroom, you start brushing your teeth and it's like, oh yeah, I always brush my teeth after I go pee, right? Well, there you go. There's some awareness, right?
Yes.
And then I love, Angie, how you said, again, to keep it simple, right? To just slowly build on it. Um, which is how I started. Uh, a few years ago, I started, I think I'd like 2 or 3 things. And then again, there's like a lot of tweaking and things that went into it. But now I'm at the point where, I mean, my morning routine is about 45 minutes and it's the whole thing is a non-negotiable. Like if I know that I got to wake up earlier for some reason, or like that we're doing something, let's say we have to go out at like 9 a.m. or something, I will make sure that I'm like, okay, so that means that I have to wake up at X amount of time to make sure that I'm getting my morning routine in. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, it has such, and I can't emphasize enough, like a morning routine. Again, that's authentic to you, right? It doesn't have to be 45 minutes. It could be 10 minutes, right? But it's so that
25.
consistency and that authenticity is so important to your physical well-being, your emotional well-being, and your spiritual well-being. Because again, every single morning, first thing in the morning, when you do your morning routine, whatever it is, you are reinforcing to yourself, Angie, I'm doing this for you.
I matter.
Right? Like I'm doing this for myself. I love myself. This is specific time just for me.
Yeah.
Right? And it has such powerful benefits. And this is part of reprogramming too, guys.
Yes.
Of putting yourself first. You are number one because you are the creator. You are the God source of your own world. Right? So you are so worth 5 or 10 minutes in the morning. You are worth 10 hours in the morning. Right? So when we're sticking to our morning routine, however simple or complex we want it to be, again, make it authentically you, right? And it's a learning curve. Just add little things at a time. Maybe you're just washing your face and brushing your teeth intentionally. Okay, well, schedule that for the first month, right? Again, you got to schedule these. If you want to build up on your increments, schedule it for yourself, right? You're like, okay, for the second month, maybe I'll add a little bit of movement, right? Maybe some stretching in the morning or, dancing, whatever it is, for 2 to 3 minutes,
Yeah.
and then you add that on and,
It almost feels
until you're comfortable with that morning routine and it's sustainable, right? Maybe 45 minutes, maybe that seems too overwhelming for you. Okay, then just do 15, right? Like whatever that feels right for you, right?
Yeah, there's no right or wrong. And I'm getting actually that this needs to be said, mindset shifting. We also need to shift our mindset sometimes around this, that for one, we might not believe it matters. We might not believe it matters that you do this. Like what's 5 minutes gonna do? You know what I mean? But I'm telling you, energetically, it does. So there could be you may need to shift mindset around this. You may need to shift mindset in giving yourself credit for what you already are doing because you've been dismissing
Yeah.
it. you know, that, but not purposely. That's not to shame anybody, right? This is how we're programmed to disregard what we're already doing, you know, that what we do doesn't matter, you know, and
Dude, yes.
right? Like me washing my face didn't matter until it mattered, until I was like, oh, I am already doing a routine and I can make it more mindful now. So now I'm shifting my mindset around something I'm already doing. I'm saying, oh, what I've been doing was important. And now I can make it even more intentional. And that's energizing. That energizes your day. So the mindset shift is really important sometimes in this.
Right.
And remember, our kids are watching us.
Yeah.
And so they might not be doing routines, you know what I mean? And taking
They
care
may
of
not do it
themselves
for
in the
10 or
morning.
20 years,
Yes,
right?
but
But
you're
it goes
laying the
into their
foundation.
subconscious.
Right.
Yeah. They're going to remember in their subconscious, mom wasn't, you know, harping on us first thing in the morning or whatever. She was, she would always go outside no matter what the weather and just talk to the tree or whatever. That's what she did.
Yes.
5 minutes. It's
And
going, even if they don't do that, it doesn't matter if they have a morning routine or not, it gets planted in their subconscious.
And one day when
Okay.
they're
Which will have a
older,
positive effect.
one day they're older and they're, you know, they're waking up in the morning and they're wanting to feel better than they do. They're going to suddenly
Yeah.
think that, what did mom do? You know, mom used to step outside and put her feet on the ground. Like, you know, I used to think that was silly, but you know what? Maybe I'll try
Or
it.
nuts in February.
Yeah.
right. I used to think it was silly, but I remember how she always came in seeming more
Happy.
smiley. She felt more, in the moment, more present with me,
I want to be
more
that way.
gratitude for me. And when she didn't do that, she seemed a little bit more frustrated or short, or they're taking it all in, all of our examples.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to say, when you were speaking about doing things intentionally for ourselves, we're already doing them, and they do energize us to some point, like washing your face every day
Yes.
and brushing your teeth. But I think of us in terms of energy, and the way I think of that often is as if we are a battery, and our battery is constantly being charged, depleted, or sending and receiving a healthy flow of energy. So when we're doing these regular routines like brushing, dressing, showering, we are energizing ourselves. But think of it as like, okay, here's my battery, and oh, I brushed my teeth. Oh, I brushed my hair. I took a shower. But when we do this intentionally, that energy increases so much to the point of we begin to overflow. And then we just have to share it with
out.
all those. Yeah, it just spills out over us. Just like if we were frustrated and depleted and on edge, that's gonna spill out, right? So thinking of ourselves in terms of a battery, and how many times can we take even 1 minute, 2 minutes to intentionally energize ourselves, is going to give us so much more energy than if we do it mindlessly and unintentionally. So something that I regularly do, and these routines and these energizers can happen anytime throughout the day, but setting that morning routine really sets us up for success. So for example, like when I shower, I often tell myself all my body parts, like as I'm washing, I love them and why I love them and why I'm grateful for them. And it takes me no longer to shower, but I'm just intentionally telling myself that. And how amazing do I feel? One of my morning routines used to be, when I got undressed, to look at myself in the mirror and tell myself why I love myself. I recorded the Love Your Body by Louise Hay book, and I would listen to that, and I'd look at the parts of my body and tell myself I love myself as I was getting ready. And it just makes a huge difference with energizing ourselves and then spilling that over, that gratitude and that love over into our life everywhere. And of course, that affects our children and our family and all those around us. So we can do these things mindlessly. We're doing them already, or we can take that little bit of time and do it intentionally. And it doesn't have to take any more time than what you're
What
already
you're
doing.
already doing.
And
Yeah.
eventually, if you want to, then you start taking more time because it feels so amazing. You're going to want to.
Yes. And our life changes too. Like our household schedule changes. So where you had 45 minutes to do your routine before, maybe you don't anymore, you know?
Right.
And we need to move into acceptance of allowing that to shift then. Allow it to shift. Well, now I only have 5 minutes. Let's not shame ourselves because we only have 5 minutes because we can't do the 45-minute one. Allow the change and find something that works for you where you're at, you know. This was such a
Absolutely.
great conversation. It was very inspiring for me
Mhm.
personally. I
Me
found this
too.
very inspiring. So, yeah, so we invite you guys. We invite you guys just to look at what you're already doing. Do it more mindfully, be more present in it. Yeah. Any closing thoughts?
Um, just that I love you and I'm grateful for this conversation. Thank you both so very much. I am inspired. I think I'm going to write down that list. I do, as I said, my routine has changed, but there are intentional things that I still do, of course. But this has really inspired me to make a little list for the morning and start being even more intentional in the morning.
Yeah.
So, my invitation to everyone is to just take one thing that they are already doing and make it intentionally loving for yourself.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
that's not overwhelming.
No.
Yeah. My invitation to everybody watching is however you want your morning routine to be, schedule it. You got to schedule it. Write it down. Write it down on your calendar. Write it on your phone calendar. Schedule it, right? Even if it's just you writing yourself a reminder note right now saying, I'm going to be aware tomorrow morning of one thing that I'm already doing. There you go, right? And then we build on that, right?
Yeah. And be gentle with yourselves, guys. Be gentle with yourselves.
No judgment.
There's no judgment.
No.
Yeah. If it doesn't work, it's okay. It's okay. Right? Oh, I love you guys. Great conversation. And we are going to do a future episode to look at evening routines, to look at, the end of the day, because I think that's also an important and different element, right? And has different benefits. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. Yeah.
Can I just add one more
Of
thing?
course you
Because you
can.
just mentioned that we are much more lucid when we're first waking up and before we're going to bed, which is why these routines are very valuable to set in place morning and night. And that's all.
That's a really good point. Thank you. Yeah, so if you enjoy this content, guys, please like the video, share it with anyone you know. If you're interested in learning more about us, our information is down below. And yeah, please subscribe. Every Tuesday, we premiere our videos at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and you can click the notification bell to get notice of that and get a reminder of when we go live. And at least one of us will be on to live chat during that premiere. And share. Don't be afraid. I don't care when you're watching this. Time doesn't exist. Okay. So you share your comments. We'll see them and we will welcome them and we will be so happy because whenever this video finds you, it's going to be perfect timing for you. Absolutely. You don't trip across this type of stuff, anything really accidentally.
Right.
So we love you. We'll see you for next video. And thank you so much, Julie, Natalie, for joining me in this conversation.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye,
Love
guys.
you
Bye,
all.
everyone.